The future of TV is much closer than you think. Over at Silicon Valley, there are a ton of people that are trying to figure out the next big iPhone moment, the moment that actually defines a set generation with new technology that hasn't been seen yet. And when it comes down to it, it all seems to be culminating towards headwear. And by that, I mean a set of glasses of some kind or a headset. We saw what happened with the Apple Vision Pro, and Meta, they have their Ray-Ban partnership as well as the Meta Orion glasses. Even Snapchat, they have the Snapchat spectacles, and Google last year at Google I/O, they showed off their Google AR glasses. It seems like AR, or augmented reality, is the future of not only social media interaction, but also consuming content as a whole. But why glasses? Why is that the route that every tech company seems to be going towards? I mean, I get it that the glasses have been around since the 13th century. They were invented in Italy, and over half of the adult population in the United States use some form of corrective eyewear. I mean, I get it that it's comfortable, it's easy to use, and the design itself is relatively well there. But if something gets a little bit too heavy, it's uncomfortable. Why is that where tech companies are going? Now, when I get home from work and my son is either playing video games or watching something on TV like Doctor Who, I'm sitting there and thinking to myself, well, I could, watch whatever he's watching, or I could go upstairs, go into the den and watch something over there, or I could just, hang out here, lounge on the couch, and be comfortable. But at the end of the day, most of the stuff that I watch is TVMA, and I don't really want to have my son watch stuff like that. In order to go around that, I was trying to figure out different ways that I could consume my content in a really comfortable experience and still have that 65-inch view that I would want when I'm watching something on TV. Now, Rokid, they heard that I was working on something like this and trying to figure out a way to solve those problems for me. So they sent me the Rokid Max 2 and are kindly sponsoring this video. Now, when I was looking at these, I was really intrigued, not only because it's an interesting way of having a television experience without a huge TV in front of you, but also because it has micro OLED technology from Sony. And if you've been following this channel for a bit, you know that I am a huge fan of OLED. I love those inky blacks, and I want to be able to have that experience whenever possible. Now, these are glasses, or well, they kind of look more like sunglasses, but what you don't see is that they check off a lot of the boxes that gamers want in a portable gaming experience. They have Sony's 0.68-inch micro OLED technology. This allows you to have a 215-inch virtual screen that's perfect for movies, gaming, work, anytime, anywhere. And that 120 hertz refresh rate means that you're going to have a smooth experience, which is perfect for gaming. Now, this is a standalone product that can work on its own, but there are a ton of accessories that are there. In fact, they actually sent me the Rokid Hub to test with my Nintendo Switch OLED. And once the Nintendo Switch 2 comes out, I want to test it on that as well. I'll probably post a short talking a little bit more about that in the future. But when it comes down to it, if you just want to buy the glasses themselves and use them with the multitude of devices that you can connect to, then yeah, you'll be 100% fine. Rokid sent this unit for review, so it is going to be exactly, if not similar, to what you would get if you order it straight from them or through their Amazon store listing. Now, one thing that I do want to go ahead and say is that the unboxing experience was really premium. Everything just kind of like opened up and boom, right there are the Rokid glasses in their case. In the rest of the packaging, you're going to find a USB-C to USB-C cable, a lens wipe, as well as a couple of nose pads, a lens cover to get the full VR experience, and a little bit of documentation. Now here you have the brightness button. This allows you to increase and decrease the volume that's here. And then this button that's right here actually toggles the brightness that's there. Now I do want to let you know that there is a proximity sensor that is right here on the side. So if you take these off for whatever reason, they'll go ahead and shut off, and whatever you have it connected to will also know that you have it shut off. They also have these little tiny directional speakers that are right here, which are fantastic because that means that you can listen to whatever it is that you're watching and not actually disturb anyone that's there. Up top, you do have a microphone that is meant for noise cancellation, and then a USB port that is here on the back that is meant for power supply, as well as having connectivity to whatever it is that you have it connected to. Now, these nose pads that are right here, they are meant to just be a little bit more comfortable, and they're pretty awesome. Now, here's the biggest thing for me. You have these diopter wheels that are here on each and every single one of the lenses that are there, and it allows you to adjust the diopter on the actual lens itself from 0 to negative 6.0 D. This is fantastic for somebody like me that wears glasses, because without them, I wouldn't be able to see what is actually on the screen itself. Now, they do have prescription glasses that are available for order for an additional fee, but at the end of the day, like, I didn't even need them. I just adjusted the diopter and boom, I was able to actually see what was happening on the screen. Now, pricing, in my opinion, is fair given the amount of tech that you're going to get in such a small form factor and in comparison to the rest of the competition that is out there. If you go onto Amazon, now this is $529, but if you go onto Rokid's website and you pre-order over there, it's $100 less at $429 to have your own personal viewing experience whenever you want. I think it's awesome. Now, if you want to get these glasses for yourself, you can also use some special discount codes that I have for you. If you go through Rokid's website, you can use the code BaldlyRudy20. I'll have that down in the description as well as the pinned comment. But if you want to go through Amazon, it's a bunch of letters and numbers. I'll have that here as well as within the description and the pinned comment below. The speakers on these things are actually fantastic. Despite the size, they are really loud for what they are. Now, one thing that I do want to say in terms of the actual spectrum of audio, I'm not an audiophile by any means, but I could tell that the speakers were much more on the treble side than they were on the bass side. And what I mean by that is that they didn't pack that much punch. But again, because of the size that's there, I wouldn't expect it to be like that. That being said, when I did try out most of my testing, I was doing it in the living room. My family was either watching TV, playing video games, watching sports, whatever it may be, and I was able to enjoy whatever I was doing with these glasses, whether it was watching a movie, playing video games, or whatever it may be. And I didn't have any issues enjoying the media that I was consuming while my family was around me. One thing that I do want to go ahead and say is that the speakers that are on these are loud enough to where if somebody is sitting next to you, they might be able to hear a little bit of whatever is happening. So whenever I was playing games like Clair Obscur, my wife knew, because of the music that was going on, that I was actually playing the game without her being able to watch me play the game. That being said, it's still a great experience that definitely bears mentioning just because of the overall form factor, the size, and what you could do with speakers this small. While I was testing out these glasses across multiple devices, there were a lot of things that popped up that I think bears mentioning. First and foremost, I want to get this out of the way. It was very comfortable to use these glasses. It only weighs 75 grams, so it really isn't that much on your face. And I do want to let you know that the temple bars that are here that go over your ears, they're actually very flexible. Now, I've been wearing glasses since I was like in 3rd or 4th grade. And whenever I was wearing them and I bought new glasses, I realized that those new glasses are always really tight and they became almost painful on the back. But as time progressed, they kind of just stretched out a little bit and became much more comfortable. And we're at that point that it just felt really nice to wear. Now, that's a typical thing that happens whenever you wear glasses, but with these, because of the flexibility that is there, it's just comfortable right out of the box. So you don't have to worry about things. Across all of the devices, I notice also that the micro OLED is absolutely fantastic. It is so stinking good. Now, it isn't an infinite black or infinite contrast like you would with an OLED panel that's on a TV or a monitor. The OLED contrast is actually 100,000 to 1, but it's still nice enough to where you get those inky blacks. In terms of color, I love the color that I got out of this. I'm actually a huge guy when it comes to color calibration and making sure that things are color accurate because of my day job. I edit photo and video for a living, so I wanted to make sure that everything looked as good as possible. With these, I couldn't actually calibrate the actual monitors because they're so small, but they really looked good straight out of the box, and I thought that it was worth mentioning. The refresh rate on this thing definitely left a lot to be desired because I noticed that you needed to actually use a station to unlock that 120 hertz refresh rate. When I connected it to a laptop, I'm talking about a laptop that has a 5090 and an i9 on there, I couldn't get past 60 hertz, and I was confused. I didn't really understand why, and it turns out that you need to buy an accessory in order to actually unlock that, which is a little bit of a bummer in my opinion, but it is what it is. Also, I do want to go ahead and mention while we're talking about the screen is that it can get all the way up to 600 nits for peak brightness. And if you're in an area that is too bright, even still, there are shades that you can go ahead and use on those glasses that'll just create a much more private experience and won't let light bother you. For different use case scenarios, I wasn't able to actually try it on my iPhone because my iPhone doesn't have a USB-C hub. Sorry guys, my iPhone's super old, so I'm not going to be able to actually use it on that. But I did try it out on my Pixel 8 Pro, and when I connected the glasses onto the Pixel 8 Pro, it essentially asked if I could match the display that was there, and it did it. But when I had it on the screen or the glasses, the aspect ratio was whatever I had it on, whether it was vertical or horizontal. So it didn't really change too much, and it couldn't take up the entirety of the screen based off of what I noticed, which is a bit of a bummer because I wanted it to take up everything that was there, even when I was watching a video on YouTube. But regardless of that, I was still able to enjoy the experience that was there. Using it on laptop is kind of like setting up a secondary monitor. So when you hook it up, it's going to mirror exactly what's on the screen, the aspect ratio, the resolution, everything that's there. Now, if you actually go into the Windows settings and go into the display settings and change it so that you only see display 2, then it's going to take up the entirety of the screen and you're going to be able to see everything that's going on. And it's absolutely fantastic. I actually really like the experience that's there. In terms of productivity, I was able to edit things and kind of get things going for my day job. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't really want to be able to edit on something like that I couldn't actually color calibrate. And because my eyes are just messed up, not everything was 100% clear the entire time. And that's at no fault because of the glasses themselves. It's just, I have astigmatism. So that's just how it is. I do want to go ahead and say that I couldn't get 60 hertz again on that at all. I needed the station in order to actually make that happen, but it is what it is. Connecting it onto the Steam Deck was actually really easy. It's essentially plug and play, which is the beauty of SteamOS as a whole. And I didn't have to worry about adjusting or changing things at all. It just dropped down the refresh rate because I have a Steam Deck OLED from 90 hertz to 60 hertz. But aside from that, it was just awesome. Now, when it came to the Ally X and using either Bazzite OS or Windows OS, I had two different experiences. With Bazzite OS, it was very similar to Steam OS, which was nice. But with the Windows OS experience, it was essentially the same as using the laptop. But I needed to make sure that I had it set up to where Display 2 was showcasing everything and I didn't see anything in Display 1, because once I set that up and changed that, then again, it took up the entirety of the screen, which was a nice to have experience overall. Okay, so I'm going to try to break this down into two different categories. You have your pros and your cons. Now, on the pros side of things, I absolutely love these things. I love how this is pushing forward the medium. I know that it's technically more of like a niche product overall, but it just is so interesting and allows for pushing forward VR and AR in an area that isn't 100% there yet, without it being these huge bulky goggles that you're going to be wearing, and it is more glasses. I think that's something that is absolutely fantastic. I love the micro OLED experience that is there, and that 600 nit peak brightness is really good, but the lack of 60 hertz or the lack of 120 hertz at 60 hertz is definitely something that just kind of, I don't know, it doesn't feel 100% right. Also, when I was using it, and I don't know if this is just because of the shape of my face or maybe my nose is too big or my head is too big, but there was always a section of the screen that wasn't visible. I couldn't 100% see everything, and most of the time it was that there was this top bar that was there that wouldn't allow me to actually see what I wanted to see. Now, in most instances it wasn't really that big of a deal, but if I was playing a game and there was a heads-up display that was there, like a portion, like a health bar or something that was up top that I wanted to be able to see and I couldn't see, then that would kind of get in the way of things. So why glasses? I think that it's because it is just a comfortable experience. It is something that we're already used to anyways. It's not like wearing those huge Apple Vision Pro goggles where you're just, I don't know, just out and about, and then you have this huge battery that's connected to you. That's just, I don't know, it's just not a good experience. But if you're having something like this and you're out at a cafe, or if you're sitting on the couch while your friends and family are watching something on TV and you kind of just want a private moment but still be there with them, then this is just a nice way to kind of find a medium or in between everything that is there. I just like it. It's comfortable, it's lightweight, and it's something that people are already familiar with, which makes it much more easily, I don't know, just integrated into your daily life if you want it to be. Like I said, if you're interested in picking these up for yourself, I'll have links down in the description as well as the pinned comment alongside with codes. That way you can go ahead and get these for yourself. So what do you guys think of the Rokid Max 2? Is this something that you're interested in, or do you think that Rokid needs to let this cook a little bit more just to squash out those little tiny critiques that I had? Let me know down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on things. And if you want to hear my thoughts or learn how to install Bazzite OS onto your Ally X, then click this video over here. I talked about it in this video. Or if you want to learn how to, well, install a battery mod onto your normal ROG Ally, then click this video over here. And until next time, guys, I will see you on the next one. Peace.